Well, good morning, good evening. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. And really excited to, share with you our monthly demo of the platform. It's every now and then we organize a little tour to discover the new features that we develop, the new initiatives that we create at Trusted Family. This time around, it's really very much focused on the product. If you want to have a glimpse at all the other initiatives that are being worked on our public website here that I'm actually showing, you can see all the upcoming exclusive events that we're doing. So today is a focus on the technology. There's another one happening on the 26th of February with the family, the Mullier family, on how they're kind of quite advanced in the way that they fostered this entrepreneurial mindset within their families, starting with um, Leclerc, Leroy Merlin, and now they have over 200 brands held by the family association. So it's quite a nice journey. So, stay up to date. Feel free to subscribe to all of to our notifications, and you'll receive all the future events that we do. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Today we'll focus on our platform and really go through demo of it. So Trusted Family, we do three things today as an organization, as you may know. There's one is what we call the family operating system. We call it the family operating system because the goal is really for it to reflect the needs of your specific family or family office. Every family is unique. When you say you speak to a family office, you've just spoken to one family office, and it's important for our platform to be able to adapt to the way of your of working, to your permissions, to your governance that is in place. And so, you can have a view here as to all the features, but one of the main keys is making sure everything is centralized, help the way that you communicate information about the business, about updates that you're doing, and improve not just the way of working today, but create a legacy for the future of your family and owners. Because we live in an age where data is an asset. It needs to be preserved. It needs to be stored. It needs to be easily accessible and used by future generations too. So, create your own family and business timeline and preserve your legacy, as well as improving the way you currently operate throughout your governance. So that's the platform, and I'll give a demonstration of it right now. We have two other pillars. One is the family success. I'll quickly scan through them, but family success, the platform is only as good as its content and it's the way as it's been enrolled within your family and entities. So yeah, we have a family success team that's there to train, to onboard, to share advisory practice, to monitor success, to benchmark your family with other families that are similar, to understand how we can continuously improve in our way of working. It's an amazing team scattered around the world that work closely with you in making sure that you thrive and that you communicate well. And I think the final pillar is our community, where you can see we organize all sorts of events. We also have amazing client spotlights that we schedule throughout the year where you can meet and learn from other families. We organize private Zoom meetings with our customers on different themes, which are really, really amazing. And this is all managed again by the family success team. So kudos to them for all this work that they're doing. So on the platform, let me dive into it. We've got I'll keep like 20 minutes for this demo, and I'll spare about 5 minutes time. If you have any questions, feel free. There's a chat or a note, something like that within the Zoom where you can reach out to me and ask any questions, and I'll make sure to spare time at the end to share the updates on or answer questions that you may have. So here we go. This is the Trusted Family application. So first things that's maybe worth noting is every client has its own dedicated app, right? So here I'm on the Wayne Family Office platform. Every client has its own design, own URL. Building a family identity, a family look and feel is also something that we feel for many of our clients as being an important project that we kick off at the beginning. of this of the work, just to create a sense of identity, right? So that people, any family member, whoever they are, and whatever role they play, can understand who they are, what the family is about, and the role that he or she has to play within the organization. So yeah, every family has its own platform. What's important to look at when you look at this system is we have two main sections on the left-hand side. There's everything linked to your personal settings and what we call spaces. Why do we have this distinction is because, of course, depending on your role within the family, your accesses will differ, right? And so in the case of this example that I'll go through, it's a family that has quite a lot of structures already. They have families where you might include the in-laws, you might include younger generations starting most of the time the age of 16 or 18 years old. All of our clients get invited to the family space. You have a space for the shareholder, for the family council if you have one, for the board if you want to use it for the board, where we have a lot of clients that do, for the foundation, etc. Right? And then every space here is secret, which is important to notice because permissions are essential, right? And that's the first thing, and it's the backbone to everything on the platform. Is whenever you publish something, you will know in which space it has been published. Here it's published in the family space. Here it's published in the next gen space, this event. Here it's published in the family council space. You can also publish information in two different spaces, because people will not have, there'll be different people within those space. If I look at, for example, the foundation, if you have an external foundation with someone in charge of that foundation, you might want that person to be, fully owning the foundation space, but will not even see or have access to all the other spaces where other information are being distributed, right? So that's really the backbone to everything we do. And this is also why we have your personal settings, because of course, your personal settings will be different depending on your role and who you are in the family, right? So you receive notifications. Maybe what's valuable to mention in terms of notifications is we have a native iOS and a native Android app. And in terms of notifications, that's kind of what clients are looking for the most, is receiving push notifications. So whenever you get invited to a meeting or whenever there's a document that is shared with you, we don't send that information out via email for security reasons, but you get a push notification. And basically our iOS or Android app, it looks like this. The platform is fully responsive, but you can see how it looks like. So the mobile app, basically the menu items come here at the bottom. You can scroll down and see the latest features. As you scroll down the website, you can, this is if you want to jump from one space to another. I can go to the shareholder space and I'll be able to see all the information within that one space through. And so, and it's the same thing, right? So you have your notifications here, your home screen here, etc. So the platform is responsive, but we also have a native iOS app if you want to use it that way. And I think most of our users today use and consume the information through their mobiles. So that's in terms of notification. Of course, we have a native chat. Again, that's similar, very, very used a lot on your mobiles. You can have a chat for all the members that are in the spaces you belong to. So I can have a chat with all the members of the family council, or with all the shareholders, or with all the board members, and have instant kind of conversations in a secure way with the people who are part of these spaces. Or you can just have, chats for people attending a specific meeting or event, or just direct one-on-one conversations. So one of the most used features today on our platforms are meetings. I think I need to check, but there was thousands and thousands of meetings that all of our clients together organized in 2024. It's clearly the most used feature. It's very easy to create a meeting. You just have a plus sign within the calendar, and I'll show you when I go into the different spaces. You can also organize different spaces. We have different views. We have a calendar view if you prefer it this way, where you can also synchronize. I think what's really important is you don't want to have yet another calendaring application to manage. So I strongly invite all of our customers to integrate with their, Outlook, Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, whatever calendaring system you use, integrate it so that whenever you get an invitation or you are invited to a meeting, that meeting will automatically appear in your own private calendars, right? And so to show you how meetings work. So if I click on, I don't know, this shareholder meeting, I'll be able to view the location of the meeting. We've done integration with Zoom or so you can add also, if you want, the Zoom link or meeting link here, or conference link if it's happening online. or if there's a physical location, you can add it there. You can add all the event packs, whatever, forms, document files, all of that can be uploaded here. If you organize your minutes of the meetings, you can automatically also start taking notes for that meeting. So let me just move this up here, talking points. Let me put it that way. I can change the header, whatever, header one, presentation of trusted family. So yeah, you can start taking all the notes you want for the meeting. What's also quite neat is we have these action items, and so you can also assign all sorts of tasks to people. I think one of the most difficult challenges when we see in a family ecosystem is holding family members accountable for decisions that are taken within the family environment, because not always do people work for the company. If you're let's take the example of a family council, very much it's pro bono, or it's family members who are taking time to be more involved or to help out. And so it's not always the priority. Once the call ends, everybody gets back to their lives, and it sometimes feels that everybody forgot everything that was decided. So having a good track of what were the decisions taken, holding people accountable, and action items is also extremely important. And we also have a centralized to-do in your personal settings to see all the action items that have been assigned to you. And this way you can kind of make sure to follow up on that. So voilà, all the event packs, again, as I said here, you can upload all the files you want, the documents. We also have surveys that you can add here if you want forms, submissions, etc. Following a meeting, you can do that way too. And then you have the guest list and the invitation list. What's also quite handy, so you can see who is attending the meeting, but you can also have this option of having guests to a meeting. What this means is that you can invite external people just to that meeting, and he or she will only see the information of this meeting without having access to the entire space. Again, we only work with family businesses today. We work with over 200 families, and it's quite common to see where you might have a next gen you want to invite just to one board meeting as an observer for that board, but you don't want to give them access to the board space and all the information on the board. You just want to give them access to that one meeting. And the same can be said for the next gen. If you want to invite a senior member to one of your next gen meeting, well, invite them to the meeting. He or she will be able to see all the documents of that meeting, but won't be able to see all the interactions and conversations that are happening in the space next gen. So that's for calendars. Let me first come back before going into votes. There are two important concepts. So the first concept is what we call those spaces, right? So you'll have a shareholder space where you can talk about the shareholder agreements, dividend policies, where you can, organize all your files that are for this shareholder space. And it's very easy, again, to upload documents, forms for that one space. You can create new folders. We have this concept of a bridge also. A bridge is basically an integration that we have today with OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox, and others. And so basically, when you click on adding a bridge, you just need to share the link of that external website. It will find it, and you can start collaborating with people, right? So, the platform, I need to request editing access. Let me try to find another one. So when it comes to collaboration, like I always say, if your document is final, upload it on the system, it's better. But if you're working on a family constitution, for instance, or if you need to collaborate on one document, a spreadsheet, etc., it's better to do that integration, because at the end of the day, everybody's used to using Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Google Drive, or whatever, and it felt for us to make more sense to provide those solutions within the application itself, where you can start uploading, editing, etc., everything. And if you close this page, you're back onto your website, right? So that's what we call the bridge. So it's very easy within the space to, as I said, upload all sorts of information, recordings, etc., within the space. You can upload all sorts of meetings and organize all sorts of meetings. So shareholder meetings, board meetings, council meetings, depending on the space you're in. Again, it's the same thing as that plus button there. If we look at the family space for the larger families, also, I would say the families that once, we start having 30, 40 family members or so, we have this family tree that we've also developed, where you can easily see and see the link between different family members. Again, this module is in the family space, but you see, I'll show you, it's not in the board or other spaces. So you can really decide what aspects. Do you want to have the members module within the space, yes or no? Do you want to have the family module within the space, yes or not? Or family tree? And in the case of a family, it makes sense to have the family tree where you can see how people are related. So yeah, maybe coming back to let me just, I don't know, let me just look at the board. So here you can see the family tree is no longer there. One other point that is worth sharing with you is the settings of a space, right? So security, and I know that there's already a question on security, so that's why I'm already sharing it here. So there are a lot of granularities of security. So the first thing when it comes to security is you can, as an owner of the platform, you can enforce two-factor authentication of all the users of the platform, right? So that's the first thing, and I think if your security is important, it's a good practice to have to really enforce two-factor authentication. But there are three levels of permissions on the application. The highest level is what we call an organizational owner. It means that you have the possibility of creating spaces. Not everybody can do that. Only the organizational owner can do that because you want to keep control of the spaces, the governance, etc. So organizational owners can create spaces. Organizational owners also have the possibility of, creating spaces and inviting new people. You have a lot of things like you can change the design, etc. I won't go into too much detail. There's a second level that we call space ownership. Space ownership, you can decide who has access to the space, but you can also, as a space owner, define, and I think it's also important when it comes to permissions and roles, is define kind of how you want that space to operate, right? Because you might want to have the family space that is extremely collaborative, where everybody can upload information, add their own events, etc. But maybe in the context of a board or of a council or an investment committee, you really just want to have the chairperson, the secretary, or others control the information there. And so for every space, you can decide like who can push announcements. Is it all the members or only the owners, right? And you can configure that on a per space level. Who can create events? Is it only all the members, only the owners, or you can even select the people that you want who will be the ones who can upload information on the system, right? So for events, for who can create files, for the whole member directory, if you don't want the member directory, you just deactivate it. If you want to activate the family tree, you can just activate it. So you see, all these modules are here. But I'm going into details here, but I think it's important for you to understand how the permissions work and to show the flexibility in the system for you to really adopt a platform that fits with your requirements as a family policy, right? We have clients that really want to control everything because they're scared of even what family members could be publishing. And so you can start this way also, you can control it. And, happy to have an open conversation with you on that specific topic because we've seen a lot of things with our clients and families. So when you share information with a space, of course, that it be a file, a meeting, or an event, it will be visible for all the members of that space, right? And that's important to realize. Now, there's very often a case where you need to share private information, right? You need to share a tax document, or the family office needs to share K1s or fiscal statements, etc., to your beneficiaries and owners. And so for that purpose, you don't want to upload it in a space because it means everybody would have access to it, So we have this concept of vaults and vault managers. So you could have like a family office or, a financial planner or a tax advisor that is external to the family office who would have the possibility to upload K1s or other financial documents just to each vault that they have access to. So if you go to my vaults, for example, here I can see I have a vault with my tax advisor. I have a vault with my trustee. I have a vault with my financial planner, right? And I can always go and see who has access to my vault and manage that or edit that here. And if you click on your vault, you can organize, and these are information that are only visible for me. And this is extremely important because there is this context of, making sure that there's no sensitive information that goes out any longer via email, right? Before working with us, clients, they always use emails or WhatsApp or just kind of have this non-secure way of storing and archiving and sharing information. And that goes for the information linked to the family and to the business, but it's also linked to you individually as a member, right? So that's why these vaults are paramount, are used a lot by our clients. This whole vault distribution is extremely important. And yeah, you can just go ahead, publish documents like here. Let me just see this balance sheet I got. We have a lot of clients that share on a quarterly or monthly basis, even financial statements for people. And what's quite nice is you can do different things. So there are different rules that you can apply. So if this document is really sensitive throughout the platform, you have the possibility to preventing the download. You can add a watermark. You can see in the screen behind that it's adding and removing the watermark if I upload that. And we also have electronic signature options within the system. So here it's been signed already, but if it hadn't been signed, I would have an option here to request a signature. And what this does is at the bottom, it adds an audit trail with, the IP address, the timestamp, etc., of to when the request was created, when it was signed, etc. And this is what makes it legally binding, and when the whole document was completed, right? So once everybody signs the document, you have this audit trail that gets added. Again, I won't go into too much details because there's a lot of, different scenarios, different questions that every families have, but happy to, go through it into more details with you individually. So yeah, Vault something is really paramount there, and really, really essential. For the larger family, you see there's little experimental functionality there. We are rolling this out and have been rolling it out to all of our clients. It's a new member directory. I'm showing it because it's a nice way if the family's scattered around the world, if you have a large family, depending on, again, this module can be toggled on and off, but depending on who you are, it's a nice way, you can see where your family members are. You can, if you see that you have a family member like here, Rebecca, I could just go ahead and say, hey, hi, Rebecca, I'm heading to South Dakota where she is next week. Are you free for a lunch? Whatever. So you can, start chatting with people like this based on also where they are, and all of that is nice. And we also have a whole member directory if you want to really analyze, the birthday, who hasn't completed information. You can add any also criteria you want on the financial. If you're looking to doing education programs with your next gens, you want to understand if the financial, the courses that they've gone through, financial courses that they've taken. All these are filters that you can apply. We can create any fields you want in the profiles of members. That's something that we kick off during the onboarding phase with our customers. So happy to discuss that with you also. Finally, and I really like to always to end kind of with this, I think at the end of the day, owning insight into the family is paramount in order to run a family and understand the family, and also anticipate potential projects to work on, or risks for the family even down the line, right? And the reason why I say this is really important, so you can change the timeline. Let's say it's like, okay, if I want just to last 30 days, you can see who's been engaging, the number of sessions that were happening, the number of interactions, the interactions that are happening on a per space basis, the number of files and others that were uploaded. And I think it's really interesting to be able to see, okay, who are the members that had the most activity? And as equally important, like who are the members that interacted least on the platform, right? And this is extremely important because owning that insight and that information, it's like if you see that over the past, you customize here, and maybe in the last 12 months, you see that there's one member that never really connected to the application or never really engaged with the application. Pick up your phone, try to speak with him or her, try to understand, is it maybe because there are detractors? How can we get them involved? How can we make them feel that they matter to the family? And this concept of mattering is extremely important for the success of a family enterprises, right? And so even asking the question, like, what are the types of information we could publish that would make you want to connect? Or maybe it's just because they forgot their credentials and didn't bother reconnecting. I mean, owning that information is really important because you don't have that insight when you send out emails, right? You don't know if people actually read it, viewed it, and I think having that insight is paramount for the success of your journey as a family office or a family business, right? You can also, and as equally important, understand what are the interactions that had the most traction, right? Was it what was the document? I see there's an information here linked to the investment committee. Well, did we publish something in the investment committee that was so important, I don't know, around or portfolio performance or an investment that is going on in their due diligence. All of that is good understanding to understand and to see and to navigate kind of the family. So really important there. Um, so yeah, of course, searching is really paramount too, right? Finding again, we're families think in generations, which is what I love about the industry we're in, right? And because of that purpose, it's also so important to be able to make sure your information can easily be found, can easily be retrieved, can easily be analyzed, throughout the generations. Imagine, like, I have so many family members in my family now that when they turn 16, they get invited to the family space and they're like, wow, there's so much information. Like they have a way for them to educate themselves on the stories of the family or on the business without being dependent on their parents, right? And some parents are very much involving their kids, talking and communicating to their kids about what's happening in the family and the business. Others very little, right? So you very quickly will have discrepancies in the families as to who is well aware or not aware about the company and the family. And by providing a solution like this, where everything's stored, I see so often families that come to me and say, it's great. I've been adding to this family space and I can start understanding, or I just joined the board and it's so interesting to see all the previous decisions, conversations, topics that were discussed because now it makes things much more relevant. And so like the education process for a family member joining a platform, it's much smoother once everything is kind of centralized, and the search bar is really paramount for that. Um, so yeah, there's a question around pricing. I'm happy to talk a bit about pricing. So basically we have three different tier pricing strategies. So we have a basic plan, a legacy plan for legacy families, and a family office plan. Well, I'm happy to discuss that. I think, I see everybody here are already in contact with some of my team members, which is great. Please continue the conversation with them. We charge, depending on the plan that you take, we always bundle, like there's the family operating system, there's the family success, and the family community. And the three together, we charge between $1,000 to $2,000 per month, for the three packages. So it depends again on your basic legacy family office plan, but happy to discuss that with you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me also directly. Or even better, if you go to our new public website, it was released a week ago, and I think let me know what you think about it. I think it's really refreshing to see everything that's being done there. But there are quite a few call to actions. You can book a demo, and when you book a demo, it will automatically go either to based on your location, it will be targeting you to in different areas, but it's either to my colleague Katie, or to my colleague if you're in Latin America, Claudia, or if you're looking to Europe, I have Enrico. I mean, so we have teams all around the world who can help you. Um, and if and I'm happy also to jump on any other further call. Yeah, security is a great topic. So I talked about two-factor authentication. Maybe I can share very quickly some points from and security. Uh, Here we go. We have a whole document that talks about our policies around security, right? We have, whenever you upload a document, it goes through a virus scanning process to start with, to make sure any user or any member who uploads information that the data being shared is safe. We have very strict encryption and master keys. There's an entire document here, which I can open in a different space, which I really invite you to go through, which kind of gives an overview of our encryption methodology and process. What's very important is, like, we're not the owners of the data. You are the owners of the data. We are basically, in the GDPR terms, what we call we are the data controller, but not the data process. We are the data processor, but not the data controller. Here, I got it right. Which means that, at any point in time, after 1 year or 10 years or 20 years, if you want to you stop working with us, we have the obligation to give you back the data, and you'll be able to restore all that information and own that information there, right? We also do daily backups of information. Well, it's part of security. We have external people who audits our security on an annual basis. Who, we have penetration tests that we do. We have a few clients that also do a penetration test for us every year. So what I think we invest and we do a lot around security. If you have very specific questions around security, shoot them out. Let us know. We have a whole security committee that meets on a monthly basis, but that'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have also with regards to that. So yeah, the 30 minutes is off. I really am someone who likes to stick to the hour or to the time that's been kind of dedicated for this. Hopefully you found the platform relevant, interesting, compelling, and useful for all your own respective families. I realize that we have some small families on the line. We have some very large families also on the line. Of course, we have over 200 families. Our smallest family, I think they have 3, 4 family members. Our biggest one maybe has over 1,000. So, of course, depending on the needs, the use cases, it might be more vault oriented, might be more family oriented, but we're happy to discuss it, to customize it, and to help you navigate through this transition in the smooth way. Both for the younger generation, but all those senior generations also, we're very used to getting the senior generation on board into using the platform. And often they love because they have a way for them to kind of pass on information. And so yeah, there's, it's with the feedback we get is it's quite user friendly. So let us know what you think. Would love to continue the conversation, and I wish you a great day and an evening. So thank you all. Speak to you soon.